Hello, my friends. This is Mike here again. I'm back today to create a new video, and this is a very personal video about a topic that has been at the forefront of my consciousness for a while, and it's something that I want to speak about because I think it can help a lot of people, because it's something that we constantly worry about, either consciously or unconsciously. And so the title of the video is Embodying Your Service to Life by Healing the Greatest Fear of All. And so that sounds like a very lofty title, and that's because this is a very important subject I want to talk about. And it might seem kind of dark, kind of morbid, but that's only because our greatest fears come from those dark places that we don't usually like to talk about. And so this whole topic, basically it started for me like with a question that I've carried with myself for a long time, is like, what is your greatest fear? And for a long time for me, that the answer to that was, it still is, but it's evolved now. For a long time, that answer was falling short of your highest potential. And that's a really hard-hitting thing to think about, where the greatest fear you may have is falling short of what you're capable of. And I've meditated on that a lot, and that's something that stuck with me as like a motivating factor of like what I want to do with my life, what do I want to achieve. But recently that inquiry's gone deeper, to a point of where I was trying to imagine and meditate on why was I afraid of falling short of my highest potential. And so then it got kind of deeper, and I realized that myself or others fear falling short of your highest potential because one of, if not the greatest fear that you can have is having regrets about your life. And I was watching a astrology webinar by Stephen Forrest, and he just masterfully described how a life well lived in service to others and in service to your own self-care and your own self-love and your own spiritual embodiment of your higher self, that whenever you leave your body from that sense of completion and fullness, it's a state of utter joy and celebration. And so I say that because I realized that being afraid of falling short of your highest potential is because of basically dying at the end of your life and feeling like you didn't achieve what you came to achieve. Or in a nutshell, it's having regrets on your deathbed. And that's something no one wants to think about. But the truth is, it's something everyone's going to experience, whether you choose to or not. And I wanted to talk about this because this has been something that just dominates my thoughts, where fearing that you're not measuring up to who you could be, it kind of all comes from these two fears, and the two fears are not having enough time and not being good enough. And so, like, for me, being a very creative person, I have tons of creative ideas. I'm a musician and a writer, and I also have a full-time job in I work at an apartment complex being a groundskeeper. So I do a wide variety of things, from cleaning up or housekeeping or basic maintenance, random tasks, whatever is needed. And so I'm a very creative person, but I also do this because it's how I currently make a living. It's how I support myself and pay bills. And so there's this really fascinating inner dialogue between me and my higher self has been unfolding, where it's like, well, with all these creative ideas, why do you feel like you don't have enough time and you're not good enough? Like, and I realized it's because you have these concepts and ideas about what you want to create and what you want to accomplish, but they're actually the small self, the ego's concepts about what it needs to get done to feel like it's made a difference. And so this ties into the idea of leaving the world with regrets, because the only way that you can even leave the world with regrets is if you let your ego's ideas about what you need to do to get there, that imaginary future place where you need to be. You can only have regrets if you feel like you didn't achieve that. And what my higher self has been teaching me a lot lately, and what I want to share, is that your service to life is your own energy field. That's your legacy. That's what you leave behind when you're gone, in the sense that when you leave your physical body, your energy field and what you transmuted in the collective human energy field is the gift you leave behind by who you became while in your body. How much of your higher self did you integrate and manifest within your own consciousness? Because that's the legacy that doesn't die. And so it's really fascinating, because when you tap into that, you can't have regrets. Like, whatever it is you're doing, in like a practical job, a societal framework position that you fulfill to provide for yourself or your family, that's your service to life. That is what you're here to do. And only your ego, your fearful self, can be like, oh man, there's still all of these other ideas and things I want to create and do, and I'm falling short of that, and I'm doing this out here, where your higher self knows that that's already your highest service to life. That's already you completing your mission miraculously. And that's how you heal that greatest fear of not being good enough, falling short of your potential and not having enough time, is by surrendering to the perfection of your life that's already real. That's what I wanted to share, because so many people are just fighting to be somewhere else, to be someone else, including myself at times, if I get caught up in the energy of the world. But your service to life is who you actively allow yourself to become, how loving you allow yourself to become, how grateful and aligned you allow yourself to become, and knowing that you are your higher self, you are holy, you are a divine being, you're woven into the universe like a golden thread of light that is all life in all places. And if you live from that space, you can create from such a pure sense of completion and the sense of not having enough time and constantly falling short of your creative ideas. That just vaporizes because you already are your higher self, your service to life, fulfilling what you came here to do by your energy field, by consecrating your daily life, your practical work, job, whatever it is you do to be of service to the divine. And you don't have to do it in the ways that your ego struggles and strives to do it in those ways. And so if you can just surrender to the perfection of your own life as it's happening, that's when you're free from the prisons that you've made yourself about what you need to do and about what your creativity needs to be. And this, what I'm talking about doesn't mean that you don't need to be assertive and make choices and be creative and do things that's bold and exciting and move towards your goals. But you don't have to do it from feeling like you have to prove yourself to yourself, because that's so not healthy. It hurts your soul so much to feel like you have to get these things right before you're making a difference for the world. Because if you're consciously connected to your higher self and manifesting light for the world, that's a miraculous service already. And you can do it in any way at all. Whatever your job is, if you interact with people at all, your service can be infinitely powerful. Positively impacting one person is enough. It's that sense of always never being enough. That's your ego, your separate self trying to keep its fear going of thinking that you're not good enough to be your higher self. So in your daily life, if you uplift one person, or if you create a song or manifest something creative and it positively impacts one person and it uplifts them, that's enough. That's enough. And even if it just uplifts you, even if what you're creating doesn't impact lots of people, even if it just uplifts your own energy field, that's also enough. If you do it with the intention of healing the collective energy field of the entire human species. And so that's what I wanted to share, because I feel like a lot of people have such amazing, big, vast, and creative ideas about what they want to do, what they want to create for the world, and how they want to serve others. But they're living day-to-day life, living jobs that they feel like they're not aligned to their soul mission. And, lots of people, maybe not lots, but there's people that realize this and then they quit their job and lose their financial income. And I'm not here saying that's wrong. I mean, I've basically done that myself before, and I wouldn't be surprised if I do it again someday. But you can just flow with life, and you can still pursue your creative talents and interests and passions and manifest those things for the world. But you don't have to sacrifice self-care for it, because if you work full-time at a job that fits into our society's templates for contributing to society, if you do that, what I have discovered myself the past 6 months or so, working full time and taking care of your home and taking care of yourself, just takes up just about all of your time. And I'm single. I don't have kids, so I can hardly imagine what it's like for those in relationships or with children. But you can flow with life, and you can let your creativity be liberated from those fearful ideas of it has to be this way. And because life is too perfect. It really is. Life is just too perfect to let anyone feel regretful of their life if they've made a conscious effort to better their life and improve others' lives just by every day-to-day interaction. And yeah, so that's the gist of what I wanted to share. And yeah, so I invite you to just let your service to life be whatever it is you're doing in the world. Set an intention for your work, whatever it is, when you interact with people or when you interact with yourself on a day-to-day basis while you're working, to be for the highest good of yourself and all beings. And when you do that, you're not fighting with yourself trying to have enough time to work on your other projects. There's always enough time if you're that's a good way to put it, is there's always enough time if you're making the time to take care of yourself and consciously intend that what you do in the world is for the highest service of life. And so that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this brought you a sense of you already are your service. It's not out there in the future. You can be all that you want to be right now because your higher self is here. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.